Hello there, and welcome to the Stay Off My Lawn podcast, where we'll have a little fun, lots of laughs, and discussions on the common sense that needs to be applied to a lot of today's world news issues. And now, the disclaimer. Stay Off My Lawn is not intended as legal, medical, or financial advice. Void where prohibited. No purchase necessary to win. Open to legal U.S. residents 18 or over in the contiguous 48 states. Any resemblance to anyone living or deceased is purely coincidental. Actual price may vary. Only use as directed. Not a member of FDIC. And now, here are your hosts, Mike and Richard.
Yes, the band is back together. It's been 3 weeks. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, you look familiar. I think I've done stuff with you before.
Weren't we in prison together? I mean, wasn't we?
Oh, Lord, no.
No, that's right. We were at different times. Yeah. Anyway, welcome to this week's episode of Stay Off My Lawn. It's June 9th, 2026. And this is episode 160. A lot of sixes today. 166.
On Route 66. Anyway, what?
If you're watching on video, you can see Richard is in his Hawaiian shirt. And he's going to tell us about why he's been gone, why he left me in the lurch. But me and, yeah, there you go. He went to Hawaii.
And I got a nice Hawaiian hat. And for those of you who've been over there, yes, I was a passenger. I didn't do any driving on the H1 because I think it only goes to H3. And then somebody put up a hand-painted sign, I was told, on a H4, and it's under construction, and it's a trailhead.
Oh,
so it's a
well, you know, there's lots of trails out there. So
yeah, it's a fascinating place. We went over. My son-in-law is stationed over there now for 2 years, and the daughter invited us, and he did as well, over, and we decided to go for our 50th anniversary, which was last July. We finally got around to when things worked out. The biggest reason going the time that we went, and I didn't have any of this stuff going through school. Maybe you did, but I didn't. Oh, you left elementary school. Yay, you graduated. Well, now they're starting to say, no, didn't graduate. You were promoted.
Yeah. You just started 6th grade next year. That was all. Now get out of here. We'll see you in August.
That's right. You'll be in junior high next year, the youngest one. Okay, I'll tell you about the graduations because they are so cool. Oh, and my oldest grandson, he will be a freshman in high school next year.
Oh boy.
So, but they have.
That was big.
Yeah, I remember those years. It's like, what? To graduate from junior high to no? It's like, congratulations, you get to move on to the next grade.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you didn't fail. See you next year.
You weren't anything to write home about, but you didn't fail.
That's the story of my life. You're never anything to write home about. So.
That's right. We know you're just as dumb as you look.
That's right.
Something like that.
Anyhow, something like that.
Over there, these promotion ceremonies are quite elaborate with Hawaii. And it is very unique, and I'm glad that they got to participate in it. There were some kids, they make leis, and they're not necessarily out of flowers. They might have a couple of those. Our daughter, when she came to pick us up at the airport, she gave us a lei because it was our first time to Hawaii. So she stopped and got a lei for us, and we were all pretty. So that was nice. But these kids in moving on from the one thing to the other, my daughter and wife sat there for like 3 hours making these leis out of Capri Sun and candy things, and they're down, and then you make extras and you give them to your friends. And there was one kid that had leis that started here and then went down and around. He was just part of his face sticking up from all the stuff. That's the cool kids. You know, their parents bring things, other people give them stuff. So it's kind of a fun deal after the ceremony where there's a whole shooting match. And
if we made leis here in the South, it'd be out of Walmart bags and Chick-fil-A wrappers.
There you go. Ours would be out of potato sacks. So, you know,
yeah, there you go.
There's that. So that was part of the reason for going over when we did, is we got to see both grandsons go through the ceremonies, and it's something that's very uniquely Hawaiian. And they boy, they take all seriousness and they have a good time with it, and it's really cool. So we got
Very,
to,
very neat culture. I mean, I remember seeing like the Maori, I think it is, in New Zealand, and it's very similar, the Polynesian type dances
hmm
and stuff, and they're dead serious about that stuff. I think it's just fantastic. I love when tradition kind of like
yeah,
is still a part of your community.
yeah, but yet they're still doing things. So,
Yeah.
uh, good old America. No, I didn't need a passport to go there.
That's right. When you were born, and this is our second
No,
time
it was
around because we
still
lost.
a territory, I think,
Yeah,
at that time.
we lost internet for a little bit, so this is our
Yes,
second go at this. But yeah, when Richard was born, there was only 50 or 48 states, only
that's right.
58 states, only 48.
Yeah, 58.
Yeah.
Carry the one divided by, I think that's too many.
Speaking of, yeah. Um,
Because if you didn't notice on ye old hat, it says since 1959. I'd already been around 3 years.
yep, yep. And had not been thought of for another 5 years. So, well, it might have been thought of 4 years. I mean,
And,
it was
and
probably
still the
cold
times you
outside.
weren't thought
So.
of. So,
I'm very, yeah, I'm not thought of very much now. So,
so going over on the plane, our friends who used to be in, they were in Japan teaching on a base and doing stuff over there, and they said this that. Well, he's a lot taller than I am, but the extra leg room he said is nice. Well, Southwest Airlines is now charging you just like every other airplane, nickel and dime for this. Oh, you want that? Oh, that'll be this much. Oh, you want to take luggage? Yeah, that'll be this much. Oy, oy, oy.
in order for the
Anyway,
extra leg room where we paid to go to Houston, I paid like $60 extra per seat.
yes, ours was 80 something going to
Was it?
Hawaii.
And the trick to that is that, and you and I were just talking about this. To me, it was like getting the front row. If you can get that front row because there's nobody in front of you to tilt back, and you had a guy.
Yeah, that was on the way home. So we had him coming and going from Hawaii, which
Mm.
the hour and a half trip from, yeah, we had to lay over in Sacramento. Why Sacramento? I don't know. That's where they put it. But it's only a little over an hour. You can sit through anything for an hour. It's not that big a deal. Anyhow, going over, we're sitting there, and then this gentleman comes up and he's looking at stuff, and he stops and then goes to sit down, and the whole row goes, and he goes, geez, I don't know why it's making all this noise. I'll tell you why, pal. You're pushing 400 bills.
Is he really? Oh,
Oh,
wow.
he was huge. His thighs were,
Oh.
and that's not from being strong man. But he was a very nice gentleman. I will say he was nice, but, and then the rest of his family was in the back. He got
Mhm.
the extra leg room, doesn't give you butt room.
No, no, it's
So
not width.
we
It's length.
were snuggle buddies for 5.5 hours.
Did his deodorant work though? I mean,
Yes, all
okay.
that was fine. Like I said, nice gentleman, but there was no place to go.
Yeah.
So going over, yeah, it didn't happen so much. Coming back, it's like, oh, good, maybe it won't be so bad. A lady sat down and she reminded me of, I just find it interesting watching people. You know the character Scrat on Ice Age,
Oh yeah.
the
The
little
little squirrel
the little
character.
squirrel, and
Yeah.
everything he does is just like this. Everything she did was like that. Everything was just she digging through her purse and get
Overcapitated.
that, and then she gets this out, and then she's playing a game, and she just it's like, good God, lady, you're giving me a heart attack.
Cut
Lighten
back
up.
on the monster drinks a little bit.
Yeah,
Just a little bit.
but she, she wasn't large, and she was fine on her side. That wasn't the issue. So I was going to get the laptop out. We're working on a project for July 4th,
Yep.
and I thought I got 5 hours, and because I am a uh
Rapid
you
rewards member.
rapid rewards, that's what it is. I don't pay anything for internet, which was sucky at best
Oh yeah.
anyway. It was terrible on there. I'm glad I didn't pay it. um so anyhow, I was going to set the laptop up, and I did. I found a site that had a little description of every single one of the people who had signed the declaration, and I had it setting up. My laptop was sitting in front of me, and all of a sudden the gentleman's seat went wham, and it caught under a lip, and I'm trying to grab my laptop out so it doesn't break it. He just slammed it back. And I went,
Oh,
whoa, 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 whoa. I said, whoa, you're about to break my laptop. Just a minute. They didn't care. I mean, I'm yelling at it right over the, they didn't give a rat's.
gee.
So,
Now this is going to Sacramento.
yep,
Yeah.
from Hawaii. So,
Daggum
uh,
Californians.
and
They
the
don't.
people at the airport in Honolulu, which my daughter's literally, they live 10 minutes from it. She goes, I drive by it all the time
Yeah.
doing stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is no big deal to go to the airport. Everyone was so wonderful. Even the TSA people were so helpful. And I went through the Boise airport, and the guy didn't seem to have much of a sense of humor at 5 o'clock in the morning. But Boise
Yeah.
Airport used to be dead at 5 o'clock. If you had an early flight, it was like, pff, ain't nobody. It was a hopping place when you have that many people show up.
Yeah.
Anyway, he goes, you got your pot? I said, I don't have anything but my pants on. And then I went, wait a minute, I have a new hip. I forgot. He goes, you're going to have to go over here to the thing that you stand there with your
Yeah.
feet and
Yeah.
your hands up. So I went, oops, I'm sorry, I forgot. This is the first time flying since I got the new part, the new ball and tie rod end. So anyhow, got that done. Then when we went through coming back, they were really nice about it. And the lady was soft spoken, and there's so much other sound and noise. And you're standing in this thing, and she's outside of it. All I could see was, okay. And I went, she goes,
Do what?
you're done. It's okay. I went, I don't know how long I have to stand here like this. Nobody, you got to get a little closer there, lady, because your voice did not go in the little spinny room thing.
Still spring? I mean, it was spring when I got in there.
But she was real nice about it. So everybody was just really wonderful.
You know, when
So
Barbara got her hip replaced, she got a card that she can take to the
they
airport.
don't do that anymore.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said. What? Because Nancy has to go through them because she's got both knees that
Yeah.
she's got new parts on.
Oh,
So we had my daughter was the best tour guide ever, 5 stars, highly recommend.
I saw the Yelp review. It was very, very good. Very helpful.
If you go over to the island of Oahu and you want to not be part of a tour and all that, and you just you rented a car and you just want to go see things, I highly recommend purchasing, I think it's called Shaka Guides, Shaka. I don't know these people from Shinola, but it was wonderful. When you have 2 teenage boys wanting, hey, we're not getting enough sound back here where we are, we can't hear it. That's how much they wanted to listen to what
Yeah.
was going on. The gentleman was very engaging, had fun little quips and about, here's a fun fact, and it was just kind of sounded like everything was off the cuff, and he was just telling you about stuff, and it was really neat, the different things. And coming up on your, because it works off your GPS, and coming up on your left, soon you'll see Joe's Bakery. It's famous for its, okay, so we stopped in.
You know, we've been on, whenever we go somewhere, we try to take a trolley tour, which we've done on St. Simon's Island and whatchamacallit, Savannah. We've done it in Kansas City. We've done it in Nashville. We've done it a lot of different places. And it's like you get on this old fashioned trolley, and just like you, the guy but I mean, it's a live person.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it with the AI yet. But
Well, this wasn't AI. This was a real person talking who did the recording. Someone wrote the scripts, and you would not know it was a script. He
That's
was
incredible.
exceedingly good. And they also have them in the States now if you go to a national park. They have branched
Okay.
out. People liked them so much. And what the daughter said, she bought the 4-pack, so it covered just about anything on Oahu because we
Yeah.
were clear up on North Shore. We saw pretty much all the island
Cool.
and listening to this guy along the way. So it was
Yeah.
informative, but they have branched out apparently, and it's Shaka Guides for national parks.
You ought to find out who the voiceover guy is and write him a note and tell him.
Yeah,
how
they said at one point what his name was and who they call the guy doing it Uncle Shaka. So I don't know if they really had his name, but I'll have to look that up because he did a really wonderful job. The other thing that the daughter provided that your average tourist doesn't get because they're military, you can go on base wherever. No big deal.
Very
So
nice.
we were on Ford Island, and they do send tour buses there. You go and you see the museum planes and different facts about World War II and all that kind of stuff. These planes that are in there, and then you get back on the tour bus and you go bye bye. You don't get to wander around. Well, we got to go in a nearby hangar where they have it's amazes me how much of this is on that island that they have just left strafing marks from the Japanese when they came over. The holes that are in the glass
Oh, okay.
of a
Yeah.
hangar still are there. They still exist. So we got to see that. And there was a spot of where there used to be a hangar that's gone, but gouges in the cement are still there where the strafe marks were when they came over. So you had that. The other thing that was kind of a special moment, I guess, we were on the Ford Island side of where the Arizona is, and not many people get to see that, but they have some. I would call it like a headstone. It's a plaque that explains what went on and what's happening, and it's been there for quite a while. Well, we were looking at stuff, and the angle I was taking a picture at, I didn't see. And then we went out closer to the shore, and I was getting pictures of the Arizona. And then we turned around and come back. And my oldest grandson, he just had turned 14 because it was his birthday also, said, "Oh, hey, somebody left a full beer here." And then I had to explain to him what it was. I
Yeah.
said, "This was left in honor of the boys on the ship."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, well, that's kind of cool."
Yeah.
And there was
And it
it
is.
came off, it had to have come off a World War II uniform. There was also like a sergeant little, it was a cloth patch. So it wasn't like the normal stuff that you see today. It
Sure.
was, it had been
It
on a
depends on the
uniform.
uniform, whether it's cloth or not. Sometimes there's cloth on certain BDUs. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and yeah,
So
not,
on.
this was just black on white.
Yeah.
And with a border, it was pretty well worn. And
Yeah.
that was there also. So that
Interesting.
was kind of cool that we got the military tour and we got to see, well, where we stayed at their house on base, on a different base than what we were on, was there during World War II when the things
Okay.
took place just across. You can see the top of the Arizona from my daughter's house if
Oh,
you go out in the
wow.
yard. So they're not very far from it.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then we went another day, and the weather was wonderful, and got on the boat, and they take you out to the Arizona, and there was a lot of cool, neat stuff there that you got to
Yeah.
see as well, just to see how it was. And then we also, after that, we went and got on the Missouri, where the armistice was signed.
Hmm.
The Where the Japanese said yep, and they agreed to everything. It's like they didn't get a choice in the matter.
Yeah. I was
They were
gonna say,
done.
surrender or else.
Yeah,
Basically, they were out of
that's
pilots. They were done. Yeah.
yeah. They were out of pretty much everything, and the tour that we got on the Missouri was kind of neat. Didn't realize where the Arizona had gone down, and and then flipped over. It
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's still face up, I guess. But it's the Missouri and the Arizona are pointing bow to bow.
Oh, really?
And the
Okay.
reason they did that on purpose when they brought the Missouri in to dock there for museum purposes, and you can see everything downstairs, Captain's Court. You get to see it's quite fun. But they did that as the Arizona went down. That was the beginning of the war,
Mm.
and the Missouri is where they signed things. That was the end of the war,
Oh,
and they
okay.
did that
You
as
got
kind of a
bookends of the
yeah,
timeline.
yeah, kind of a cool gesture. So that was really neat. I did enjoy the Missouri. They have a big plaque on the deck. This is where the table was and signing and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Cool.
Let's see, what else did I have here? Oh, and we went, yes, we did the full Hawaiian thing. Daughter said, for you guys' birthday and your anniversary, she goes, I want to pay for a luau. So they paid for us to go to it was a pretty fancy luau.
Yeah.
It was really well done. We were there at 5 o'clock. You get to finally go in and you can look at different stuff, and they have things going. They've got a pig that they're roasting under the leaves and all that stuff. and I'll explain that in a minute. And then the dancers, I sent you a couple of pictures of the guys with the fire and the
Yeah, you sent me
ladies
the
with,
video of the hula girls, and it's
yeah,
like it always amazes me how their hips do that. It's just woohoo.
man, they can make that stuff that they're wearing just dance. So that was really fun. And we didn't leave there until almost 9. We were there
Oh,
4 hours. That included a wonderful food deal that they had the Hawaiian barbecued pork and all that stuff. And they had the whole ceremony thing with the pork that they were cooking. Somebody had cooked it all day. And then the guy explains, goes, looks great, doesn't it? You don't get any. And then he paused. He goes, everything that's served to you has to come from a certified kitchen. This hole in the ground over here is not a certified kitchen.
yeah.
You don't get it. We do, he said.
You know, they
So,
do something similar in South Carolina. They call it a pig picking, and it gets buried and the whole thing, and it cooks underground. Yeah, I think
so
that's kind of a thing with a lot of cultures. So
yeah, it
pretty
was
cool.
that part was really good, and it just was. There wasn't a spare moment because we also saw both boys had baseball games, so we went to those as well. Couple of practices, so it was in between things, and we don't have anything this night, so we're gonna go see this today. We only got rained on hard enough to kind of get to the car quicker when we were on the North Shore, and we were looking out over the area where the whales do their the humpback whales. It's their mating area
Okay,
in Hawaii where that is, and right close to there. Before we got to that, we got to see a sea turtle. It was surfing.
that's cool. That
The
is cool.
waves were coming and you'd see it. He'd go down and then all of a sudden he'd come up and it would wee on the waves and then he'd go down and then he'd come back. He did it about 4 times. So I
I'm
did
sure
get a picture of him.
in the Pacific, I'm sure it's the same way, but in the Atlantic, they have a circle that they go all the way around the, like the North Atlantic, where they do their mating and they do. I mean, it's fascinating what they do. It's all instinctual. It's called the Sargasso Sea. They make a big loop during their life all the way around, and it takes them years to do it, but it's incredible. So
So it was one of those once in a lifetime thing. We were able to stay there 2 weeks. I bought groceries most of the time if we weren't eating out. You know, hey, that was a whole lot cheaper. And it was at the commissary. It still wasn't cheap, but it's Hawaii.
yeah.
But it was, that's the least I can do for,
Yeah.
we got over there and had a nice place to stay and we're with the grandsons. And I
You're in
grill,
Hawaii.
I grilled them steaks for their promotions, if you will. I
Yeah.
got some nice New York strips, and for my youngest grandson, who my daughter says I created a monster once he figured out how to order medium rare. He wants steak all the time when they go out. No, if it's not on the kids menu, you can't have it. So I got him a full T-bone.
Did you really?
Yes,
Wow.
the tenderloin side was a little strip about that way. So I didn't have much over there, but he ate the whole thing.
I
The
bet he
other
took a nap
grandson,
afterwards.
the other grandson ate all he is too, and my son-in-law did, and the only one who didn't eat at all was my daughter. She couldn't
Yeah.
eat because the New York strips, good Lord, they were like this, and they were
Oh yeah.
marbled. Oh, they were delicious. The
Mm.
wife and I, because I had to buy a package of 2 T-bones. Oh no! So
Oh, hate that for you.
so so I took and like we usually do. She gets the tenderloin. I never get that piece. I try to find one that's got a big chunk on it. She
Yeah.
has that, and then part of um, the New York strip. So we had just good food, wonderful times, and spending time with the boys and seeing all the museums that's over by the Arizona was just fascinating. The different things that were there and what took place. It
I
was
would
all
love to
just
see just the historical aspect of a lot of that, the Arizona, and
yeah.
take that tour. I think that would be
All those
amazing.
museums are free because that's a national park.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So so that part was
Was it free
cool.
because your son-in-law is in the military?
Uh-uh. No, anybody can just walk in and you can see all the stuff and read the things, and
I know when you
it's
go to the
quite cool.
fort in St. Augustine, Florida, which I believe that's a national park. I got everybody in free because of my military, my veteran status. But they were charging people to get in there. It wasn't a lot, but it was like $13.
Yeah, it
Um,
didn't. I don't think it had to do with military. I'm going to say I'm not sure of that,
yeah,
but I don't think it did. It's
this is some
con-
years ago, so it might
yeah,
have changed.
it's
Yeah,
considered a national park, so it's not
yeah,
statewide. It's national, and they ferry you out. You're only on the white thing that everybody's familiar with. It's over top of the
yeah.
Arizona.
That's the thing you
Uh,
see all the
10
time.
minutes. You're on there 10 minutes. You can walk through, you can see the stuff, the whole wall of names of everybody and how many went down, the whole shooting match, and they talk about it going over. And sailors are assigned to work that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So, they're being paid anyway, but
Sure, sure.
so that part's now I don't know about the boat operators, but they were good. You come into it and all of a sudden you hear the motors going and he just goes and it
Yeah.
just goes sideways. It's like, okay, wow.
That's some good skill right there.
Yeah. It
We
didn't
watch
go bang into the dock either. It just goes and then kind
yeah,
of stopped.
if I was driving, we'd bang into the dock. Yeah, for sure. Because I'm a terrible boat driver.
It'd be one of
Um,
those where you get off.
yeah, it just jump as we hit the deck. It'll be a whole lot better. But we watch contraband stopped at the border, and they have a whole thing about in Puerto Rico. They have a big contingent of a Coast Guard where they monitor those waters because there's a lot of drugs that come over in that area, and they show these Coast Guard guys, and they pull up to and it's just like what you said. They are so skilled, and they do it so much that it's like, man, they can just make it look like you and I are driving a Cadillac 10 feet. It's like nothing. So
Yeah, it's no big deal. They do it every day, every 10 minutes. So
yeah,
all day long, I don't know how long their shifts are, but it's off,
do it with
go
one
back.
hand tied behind their back. Yeah.
Yep. And they put the deals out and off you go. And here it is. So
Well,
it was
if
fascinating.
anybody's going to Hawaii, we need to talk to Richard and get some tips on what to do there, at least on Oahu. You are on Oahu, right?
Yes, correct,
Yeah.
correct. We flew through Honolulu, which again was 10 minutes from my daughter's place, so it was no big deal to be taken back. When do you need to be there? Well, we need to be there close tonight, so we need to leave about a quarter till, 10 till. It's real rough. So anyway, said our goodbyes at the curb and toodles, in we went, and for whatever reason, the lines weren't long at that time of day. 9 o'clock. Went in, did our stuff, everything got done, checked in. Yep, your bag's just barely under the limit for weight, and off we went, scooted around, and we were at the terminal in less than 30 minutes.
Oh wow. Oh
It was
wow.
like, okay, wasn't expecting this, but
They need to get you out of there quick once you're there. We need to get these people out of here.
anyhow, it was a wonderful trip, and I want to give Charmaine credit. I so appreciate her filling in. You and I have both had the pleasure of working with her separately now when somebody else is gone, and then the two of us were off, and hopefully everybody enjoyed what we did for them on episode 164.
Yeah, 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 and I think that turned out well. I think you and I did a pretty decent job on that, and like Richard alluded to earlier, we do have something special in mind for the 4th of July, the 250th anniversary. There's going to be a reading of the Declaration of Independence. We're going to talk about some of the signers and how that ended up. We're still in the stages of putting it together, so but we'll let you know. Maybe that'll be an extra thing. Maybe that'll be in lieu of one of our shows. I'm not sure how we're going to do that yet, but
Yeah, but we got things planned. We do like our 4th of July, so we are
yes.
patriotic individuals.
We do love our country, and
Yep.
and getting back to Charmaine, I mean, she did such a great job,
No.
and I told her at the beginning of the show, she's one of my favorite people on the planet, and she truly is, because she is one of those people that is just the same every time you talk to her.
Yeah.
She's
She is
never
genuine. She is not. You don't
and
get a shine on and hi, your back is turned. You cinnamon. No, we don't have that problem.
and it's rare anymore. You don't find
Yeah.
people, even, whether it's somebody that you see. I've never met her in person, but I mean, even in real life, you just don't meet people that are that are the same all the time. And she's just, I love her. I think she's great. So,
Yep.
and we
We
appreciate you,
so
Charmaine.
appreciate what you
Yep,
did, Charmaine. Thank you very much.
absolutely.
Um, do you want to do the Idaho thing and then we'll, because I babbled way too long, but
Yeah, yeah, we got the Carmelo Anthony closing arguments on that, and I know that name may sound familiar to people that if you're not familiar with it, Carmelo Anthony, there's a Carmelo Anthony that plays basketball, which we talked about off the air, but this is Carmelo Anthony with a K, and this happened. There was an incident that happened in Frisco, Texas, back in 2025, April of 2025. The trial is going on now. What happened is that let me see here how this came about. Witnesses say there was a guy named Austin Metcalf that was at a track meet, and they have tents set up in their track meet. And Austin Metcalf was in the tent of his own team, and somebody else walked in. Now, somebody, I think the coach, had put him in charge of making sure the tent didn't have anybody there that wasn't there, that wasn't supposed to be there. So Carmelo Anthony came in, was from a different high school, came in and sat down, and he told him, "You need to leave," several times. And I guess they refused. I don't have all the details, but there was a scuffle, and Carmelo Anthony pulled out a knife and stabbed him in the chest, and it killed him. He died Austin Metcalf died in the arms of his twin brother. Very, very sad story. And just because you're in somebody else's tent that you're not supposed to be at doesn't mean you should take their life just because they physically try to move you out of the tent. That's my opinion. Take it what you will. But anyway, during this trial, they're accusing racism. They're doing all this kind of stuff, making it.
and that's absolutely nothing to do with it at
No,
all. He was
no, he
asked
just didn't
nicely.
belong
He
there.
was not part of the team that was in that particular tent. You don't get to do that.
No, no.
So
So I mean, it's really an ugly, ugly thing, and it's. It doesn't look like it looks like he's going to be convicted. It does look like he's going to be put away for a while. And it seems like, from what we know, it seems like that's the right answer for all this. But unfortunately, if he
we
does get
weren't there.
convicted, I'm afraid. Yeah, exactly. And if he gets convicted, I'm afraid there's going to be riots, and I'll leave that there. And that very well could be just like with St. George Floyd. We had the same kind of thing with that whole thing. But anyway, we have. Where did that lead me to a second ago? Uh, I can't remember where I was going to go with that now. But it's one of those things. I think it's just an ugly thing and it just shouldn't have to be this way. Oh, I know what it was. Barbara and I were watching the Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah, you were
Michael
talking about
Jackson
that.
is on Netflix. It was a 3-episode special, and they were talking about the trial, mostly the trial of him, kid dwiddling, whatever he ended up doing. It's like, and I watch these people during the trial show up outside the courtroom, and a lot of them are having signs and they're screaming. And it's like some people were saying, "Convict him," but most of them were out there going, "He's innocent. He's innocent." First of all, and Richard and I both totally agree on this. It's like, look, at that point, yeah, did Michael Jackson seem like he was a creep? Yeah, he sure did. And especially during the interview he gave, and I can't remember the English reporter, but he gave an interview with him, and he said, "Well, yeah, I have these boys sleep in my bed, but there's nothing sexual about it. You people are making it sexual." I'm like, and that came out of his own mouth. So I mean, okay, that seems off to me. Normal people don't think that way. But at the same time, how in the world do you go to a trial like this and scream that somebody is either guilty or innocent when you don't know? How could you know until you've heard all the evidence or know personally that it's one way or the other? I don't understand this whole getting on one team or the other without having all the facts. I mean,
I'm with you. I don't get it. It shouldn't make a rat's bit of difference if you're pink, purple, or orange. It should not matter one iota. If you did something, you did it regardless of what the issue of who you are and what you are and what planet you came from, for
Yeah,
that matter.
I
It
know.
still is not being, should not have been done. So, again, not there for either thing. So we'll see how it turns out.
I mean, all we know is what we're told, and
Yep.
unfortunately, sometimes that's not accurate. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about this the Supreme Court hearing or the Supreme Court decisions that are going to be coming down this month, and then we'll move on to the elections in California, which are woohoo cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So we'll
Yuck, that's saying it mildly.
so hang in there. We'll be right back.
Mike Tarnow, Richard Durrington. The Stay Off My Lawn podcast continues next.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Pickled Pig's Feet Eater.
Mr. Pickled Pig's Feet Eater.
Ignoring all you know about pigs and where they live and what they step in, you look at their pickled paws and say, yummy.
Looking tasty.
Craving only the most daring meal, you pass up the cow tongue, skate by the head cheese, dismiss the Rocky Mountain oysters.
Rocky Mountain oysters.
But a pig's foot soaked in pickle juice, now that's good eating.
Say real big one.
So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, Mr. Pickled Pig's Feet Eater, because it takes guts to eat those feet.
Thank you, Mr. Pickled Pig's Feet Eater.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
I've eaten gator tail and oysters, and not Rocky Mountain oysters, but
Oh,
regular.
those are good. Those are really good.
Yeah, and I haven't had those in probably 30-something years, but my son and daughter-in-law just ate. We were just down in Alabama. I think we talked about that before you left, down at Gulf Shores, and I think they ate the oysters down there. Very good stuff. I mean, the food was great. It rained the whole time we were there, just about. So.
A year and a half ago, when my oldest granddaughter got married, and the grandsons were the ring bearers, whatever, and they did it like Men in Black. They had
Oh,
they
did
had
they?
suitcases, yeah, with sunglasses. It was really cool. That's what she wanted them to do. They did a very good job. Anyhow, so we were having pizza after the rehearsal dinner. And I said, oh, and there's another place that's got Rocky Mountain oysters. And they go, what's that?
Oh,
Okay, I'm trying to explain. I'm going, well, it's the southbound part of a northbound bull.
testicle.
And I'm going, it's under, and
Testicle.
the oldest one got it, and the youngest one was still there 20 months apart. He didn't get it. He goes, it's the undercarriage. Oh, he said.
I like the way you put that. That's
I
good.
did too. I thought that was, oh my God, I about fell off my chair. I was laughing so hard because I had one on either side of me. It's the undercarriage.
There you go.
Oh,
There you go.
really? He goes,
Yeah.
yes, they're really quite good. I like the gizzard too. People go, do you know where the gizzard comes from on a bird? Yes, I cleaned many a pheasant and chicken. I love the gizzard, and yes, I know where it comes from.
I can eat it. I'm not a huge fan, but I can eat it. But out of chicken, I've never had.
Don't get it very often, but when I'd go pheasant hunting, we didn't waste anything.
Yeah.
So everything, I got the gizzard, and yeah,
Yep.
you have to be careful when you clean it.
Ugh, yeah, I would imagine. Let's move on from there. Yeesh. The Supreme Court this month is actually, they heard it in January, but this month they're looking to make a decision about trans athletes competing in women's sports for the state of West Virginia and Idaho. That's kind of a big thing. Right as we speak, 27 states already have laws on the books not permitting that. Whether you call yourself a male, a female, or even a chicken with its own gizzards, it doesn't matter whether you what you claim what you claim your status as. You can't.
I thought you
compete
were going to
in
say what
sport.
you're clucking as. Doesn't make any difference. Yeah, it's one of those things where, I'm sorry, it's just once you get to upper teenage stage, things change, muscle structures. I'm sorry, there's a reason there's girl sports and boy sports.
I mean, the bottom line is that boys and girls, men and women are built differently. There's strength differences. It's just the way it is. I can pick up my granddaughters like they're nothing. My wife cannot. I mean, and it's not because I'm better. It's just we're built different. It's just the way it is. That transgender boy out in California, A.B. Hernandez, supposedly he won 2 state championships of girls
in the
track
long jump, wasn't it? Something like that.
something like that. It was
He
one of the
out jumped most girls in one meet by 3 feet. In the state, he out jumped them by over a foot. And in long jump, the wind might be down to this.
Yeah,
and he was. So I'm sorry. That's just not right.
It's just so stupid. I just don't know how you defend yourself on that. But why does it matter to you? Well, it matters because if I've got a girl on that team and she's the best girl on that team, I want her to get the gold medal. And you've got daughters, I've got granddaughters. That's what I would hope for them one day. You know, I mean,
I've got daughters, granddaughters, and great granddaughters, and about to have 2 more great granddaughters.
Hey, you know, these old guys, you get, we started late. So, I mean, I'm almost 62 and I've only got my 2 little 3-year-olds. So, I mean, but I'm happy with them. So,
Idaho is like, they're just going, okay, take it to the Supreme Court then. It's like, we're not letting them play. Sorry.
Exactly. As it should be. I'm surprised West Virginia that they just didn't slam it down because that's a pretty red state. But I mean, so is Idaho. So, I mean, hopefully pretty soon there'll be 29 states that have it completely banned.
It's the ones who want them to participate that are taking it to the Supreme Court. And Idaho went, okay, we'll go there with you.
It's the white suburban liberals, the women.
Oh, yeah, and they moved into our state. Just, yay. I'm so excited for them. Anyway. Are we going to the next one?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we're talking about the California primaries are still up in the air. And Lucy, you got some explaining to do.
Oh, yes, you do. There's a story of ballot drop of mail-in ballots. Now, it's
why is it always mail-in ballots? I can't figure this one out.
80% of the ballots in California historically have been mail-in. 80%.
Well, that's why it's 100% mail-in ballot in Oregon. And who is running Oregon? And they're having problems. They're stepping on it. Yeah.
Bunch of leftists. Anyway, there was a ballot drop of 24,813 to be precise.
Oh, good job.
And none of them went for Spencer Pratt. And weirdly enough, none of them went for Karen Bass.
What?
I know.
Really?
Everyone went to this person that nobody ever heard of and that was in dead third place on election day, didn't even have a prayer, actually had a concession speech, I think, at that point because she was so far behind. And now she's taken over Spencer Pratt, and her name is Nithya Raman, and it's
she is an absolute moron. If you've heard her speak and ask questions of it, she hasn't got a clue.
She's a socialist.
She couldn't run a lemonade stand.
No, she's just dumb. And I heard some insight on this. Billy Bush, who is actually, it surprised me how he has kind of become actually a journalist.
And very conservative, and I'm just absolutely shocked.
I actually am too, because it didn't seem like he was that way before, and maybe he always was. And
you got to play the game, I guess.
Yeah, he was interviewing Steve Hilton, who is the conservative running for governor out there, and he's in a distant second out there. But even second, as long as he stays in second, he'll be on the ballot in November. But anyway, he was running for governor, and Billy Bush asked him about this, and here's what he had to say.
A third-place candidate receiving more mail-in ballots than the first-place candidate in the same primary? Are you a little stunned? I mean, like Nithya Raman, who really nobody knows. Yes. Nobody knows Nithya Raman, and she is gaining disproportionately in every count that they do, even to Karen Bass. She's beating Karen Bass in every one of these things. Why is her ground game so unbelievably strong? Why are all these people voting in the very end for her over Karen even?
because of the machine, and it's a different version of the machine. This is where you look at the non-profits and the far-left activist groups and the unions, many of them, and this is the political machine that the Democrats have built.
Well, and Billy also addressed at the end of that interview some of those specific groups that he was talking about, those leftist groups. And it's pretty interesting. And if you think about the name Nithya Raman and think about what he has to say here, you'll kind of put two and two together.
The registrar's office partners with lefty NGOs like Asian Americans Advancing Justice, the Pat Brown Institute for Public Affairs at Cal State University. By the way, a very unliked former city council member, Mike Bonin, is the executive director of that. He had to resign his seat, but now he runs that. Then you've got Cause USA, which stands for Center for Asian Americans United for Self-Empowerment. What the hell does that even mean? They all say they're nonpartisan. They're not. They're part of the entrenched machine, okay, that gets out on the ground.
So I think that's the insight we're seeing. California's just a mess. I don't know.
New York, I just saw before we went on the air and before I lost internet. I don't know what happened. It just went out. Gave them a call and they said, we're sending people out now. We just heard about it 5 minutes ago. And they had it up and running pretty short order.
And we're working on it. Hold on to your shorts. We got this.
Yeah. But I was looking at what's going on in New York. And do you know that Republicans have taken over the House in the state legislature?
No, I had not heard.
14 to 12.
Wow, that's huge.
When was the last time that happened? People just went, they're seeing this mommy dommy that's doing New York, and they're going, this is not right. He just did what what's his name that just came out of Venezuela did. Those buildings.
Maduro?
We take them. Yeah, Maduro. He took like 9,000 apartments, buildings, and
he mentioned he was going to do that.
He did, and that's not going to go. That's not going to fly.
It's illegal. Yeah. I don't care whether he can't make a proclamation and just do it. Just
because you said something stupid like you were going to do it doesn't mean you get to. Anyway, we're back to Mr. who told us what he was going to do. You got something else?
Yeah, I've got one more about the governorship out there. There's this whole corruption thing out in California, and there's people who say there's no corruption. Their argument is that the rules, the laws have not been broken because the law has been written by the leftists to keep. You can get a mail-in ballot for no good reason. And just sign your name. You can write an email to the Secretary of State, get a mail-in ballot, or they just send out mail-in ballots a lot of times to people, whether you ask for it or not. And I saw pictures of apartment buildings where they're like scattered everywhere.
Yeah. A gentleman said, we bought a house. It was our first house. There had been 4 or 5 people that had owned it prior to him. They got mail-in ballots for every single person who had ever lived at that house.
And they didn't request it.
No, they just showed up, and it's like, who is it? What? And they all had the right address, different names on each one of them. And he said, I got to figure this out. Turns out it was all the previous owners of this home.
Well, the feds are investigating, and as a matter of fact, there's even a local investigation. The sheriff of San Joaquin County, he had this to say.
The way the voting system is structured, we see quite a few flaws. You're able to register and cast a vote if you don't live in the country, as evident of his brother in Pakistan. And I think we have some evidence of 2 or 3 other people out of the country that voted. Is that correct?
Yeah, approximately 2 or 3 other people out of the country, as well as people residing outside of the district.
Okay. The online voter registration system, it seems to be an honor system. Anybody can put information in there to register to vote. All you have to do is click a box and say that you're not lying, and then you'll get an email from the Secretary of State or something in the mail saying, thank you for registering to vote. And there you are. Once you're on the voter rolls, anytime an election comes around, guess what? You get mailed a ballot, right? You get mailed something to vote. So we found that a little bit problematic.
Yeah, that's problematic. All
Just
right.
a little bit problematic. What is it? You have to check that box. You have to cross your fingers first and go, I pinky swear I'm not going.
And when you mail it in, it's on the honor system too. You write down the date that you mail it in. It doesn't matter what the actual date was, as long as you write it in on by the date of the that you're supposed to mail it in. It could be a week later, but they have to count it. But anyway, so they're actually, as of this morning, they're calling the race in LA that Spencer Pratt is out. And really, with all the mail-in ballots that are still coming in, he doesn't stand a chance.
No, because they're all rigged, every single one of them. If they're counting this late, it's because it's rigged.
Yeah, exactly. And as far as the governor's race go, this Xavier Becerra and Tom Steyer's, both of them are Democrats. Tom Steyer's moving up quite a bit. So Steve Hilton is still in second place, but that could change too. I mean, if we get more mail-in ballots coming in.
Well, it's by 6 percentage points. How many more with 80% of the vote, quote unquote, already counted? How are they going to stack that one? Because this last one that they did, if you don't think that looks hanky, to have 24,813 or whatever you said it was, is like, give me a break. Only to the third place candidate?
Yeah.
No, there's nothing with that.
Impossibility. Yeah. So the governor's race is up in the air. And a few weeks ago, now I don't know if too many of you caught this, but when polling numbers were showing that there was a possibility that Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco, which were both Republicans, could be the top two candidates of the state, Gavin Newsom said this in a press conference.
There is a break the glass scenario, and there's many people that have a deep understanding of what it would look like if Democrats were locked out, and we're going to do everything to make sure that doesn't happen.
A break the glass moment.
And we're going to do everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah. So that
really, how do you?
In case of emergency, break glass and send in all these ballots. They might have already had them all filled out, ready to go. I mean, I think that happened in 2020.
Yeah.
I'm thoroughly convinced.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty convinced that's
well. And there's too many anomalies in the voting machine stuff too at different states where it goes along and Biden's down here and all of a sudden it's 3:00 in the morning and it goes. Zip, just a straight up line. Okay.
Fulton County, Georgia. That's exactly what happened. Yes.
Well, it happened in Michigan. It happened in Wisconsin. I'm trying to think where it was like those anomalies. They don't happen. They just don't.
I think it happened in Pennsylvania too, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, they tried it too at 3:30. Everybody was, and why were they doing it at 3:30 in the morning? What would be the reason for that?
Maybe some people are home sleeping, maybe.
Well, when there's water main breaks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was Fulton County. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was. Anyway.
But, the Democratic candidate for the race for Senate in Maine keeps getting weirder.
Oh, yeah, we just listened to Greasy, didn't we? Sorry.
Yeah, we just heard Greasy, yeah. But the guy's name is Graham Platner. If you're not familiar with this guy, he's an ex-Marine. He's a Nazi. He's got a Nazi tattoo on his chest. And not just a Nazi, but the one like the SS used to have, the symbol of the SS, which is the Schützenstaffel, which used back in that era where the people that were really guilty of the terrible things, the real terrible things, they were like Nazi squared, if you want to call it.
Okay.
And he said
even other Germans were afraid of him.
Exactly. Other people within the Nazi party, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were.
He said he didn't know what it. He said he didn't know what it meant, and that's a crime.
Oh my eye!
Yeah.
Wow.
Him and his supposed whole unit, which nobody in his unit has come forward to verify this, as far as I know, but he supposedly got it in Croatia in 2007. Which, by the way, if you Google this, Croatia. It's illegal to get such a tattoo in Croatia. So, I mean, you cannot get a Nazi tattoo like this in Croatia. Now things happen that aren't legal all over the place. So, I mean, I guess you could go to somebody's basement and it happens, but I don't know.
Sure, he's a temporary tattoo set up in a tent?
Maybe. But even the View's Sunny Hostin, which, she's always been the voice of reason.
You could say that almost with a straight face. How did you get that out?
I threw up my mouth a little when I did that. Um, anyway, she said it was almost too much, but not quite. Here's what she had to say.
So he's a liar, a racist, an anti-Semite.
Homophobe.
He's a homophobe. Yeah. So he's all the things, and character does matter. But we have someone that has almost unbridled power in the White House at this point. There are no checks and balances.
So she thinks it's good enough. We just send him on through.
Someone without checks. They don't understand the Constitution, the amendments, nothing. They know nothing about it. They're not getting their way, so there's someone that's unhinged and unbalanced in the White House.
Yeah.
No.
Where was all their outrage when the presidential powers, the executive powers, were being abused by President Autopen? I mean, nobody seemed to care when he was doing all those executive orders that were seemingly out from left field. I mean,
oh wait, you need sure, Elizabeth, why don't you go take care of the Autopen for a while and just make sure these all get done? I need a nap.
Call me Pocahontas. But this guy has had ex-girlfriends come forward and accuse him of abuse. One girl got interviewed by the New York Times. Her name is Lindsay Fiefeld. Anyway, she described the physical and mental abuse in detail and how he was just kind of a weird dude. She said, officially, and I'm reading this from her statement, that he once told, Platner once told his girlfriend Fiefeld at the time that rape was about power, which I've heard this before. But anyway, she said this something that stuck with her for years. He said it a lot. He said, if anybody ever broke into his house, he would rape them, but not in a sexual way, not in a gay way. I would rape them to show that I'm dominant. This is a quote from her. Not in a gay way. Now, you've worked in theater. What does that mean?
I don't know that there's a way to do it not in a gay way.
I don't know.
I've had some of the nicest neighbors that were gay that have no problem. I've done a lot of plays with. I don't care. It's you do you, boo. Doesn't bother me at all. But
this conversation came up with the family here recently, and it was. I mean, nobody was upset about it or anything, but it was like, if that's something that crosses your mind in any way, shape, or form, then that's who you are. But most of us men, that never even crosses our mind. I mean, that activity isn't something I would even consider. I mean, it's like it's just off the table. So, I mean, for that to even enter your brain, there's something going on in there anyway. Now, whether it's a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs moment or not, I don't know. But anyway, he supposedly also just to add on to this, he supposedly sent pictures of his Oscar Mayer to girls on some thing called Kick. He's made Reddit posts saying that he was a communist. He also said on Reddit that all cops are bastards. And he agreed with a post saying that rural white Americans like us were racist and stupid. So, okay. It's okay. I mean, you call me what you want. I don't care. But I mean, and it seems that this is worse than what Eric Swalwell was. This is my take on this. Eric Swalwell got thrown under the bus by the Democratic Party. And for things that are bad. Now I get it. But I mean, this guy seems like it's off the chart bad. Yeah, it seems off. Yeah. So why were the Dems so dedicated to throw Swalwell under the bus and not this guy? They're still hanging on to him. So I'm wondering, is because the bench was so deep in California that where he was going to run for governor, Swalwell was going to run for governor, that they had other people to take his place, and they could say, "Yeah, look, we're a party of morality, and we can get rid of this."
Yeah, you are party of. You forgot.
I don't know. That's my take on it. What's your thought on this?
Swalwell, there was just so much of an insurmountable thing, and they're thinking they can still have All the rest of them are concerned with is power. Oh,
Yeah.
we got to get the House and the Senate back. We got to get the Senate back. And because they're looking at the polls and going, uh-oh, this isn't going to happen. We got to do something. We got to take every piece we can get. And it's just stupid to do what they're doing. I mean, why? Why? I don't get it.
And I guess he was a good sacrificial lamb for California because maybe they had that break the glass plan out there that if things did go off the rails, then they were going to be okay and they were going to work it out.
He is just slime ball exponified. I mean, yeah.
I've known a lot of Marines in my life, and most of them are fine. But man, there's some of them that are sort of like, whew, what did you escape a felony conviction to join the Marines? I mean, what happened there? And I know a guy, I graduated high school, the guy that he escaped a felony conviction because they said back in the early 80s, if you were convicted of something pretty heinous, they would give you and if you were 18, they would give you a choice, join the Marine Corps or go to jail. And they all joined the Marine Corps. This guy joined the Marine Corps. Then he got thrown out of the Marine Corps or ended up going to Leavenworth because he punched a drill sergeant, which
that's going to be a problem. Yeah, the Japanese and the Germans did not want to fight the U.S. Marines.
No.
What did they call them? Was it the Japanese that called them devil dogs? I think they just, because they said it didn't matter what you did, they just kept coming. They didn't care. And they scared them to no end. But the Marines got the nickname Devil Dogs, and I don't remember.
I think that's a specific type of job that they did. Yeah, I don't know exactly, but yeah.
I read so much stuff that it's like, I don't know anymore.
I know. It all gets jumbled together. But anyway, Senator John Fetterman, the only Democrat in all of Congress,
didn't they?
He's making any kind of sense, and they're going to throw him out, I think, eventually. But anyway, he was asked about this, and this is what he had to say.
On Graham Platner.
P. Hustle.
P. Hustle.
That's what you call him?
Okay, yes. That's what you're calling him?
Oh, no, that's how he described himself, P. Hustle.
That's
his name. I mean, the MSN folks, you love P. Hustle? And on MSN now?
We're asking you.
Because he's awesome, right? Was it the Nazi tattoo? Is it the insults and the kick account?
How do you think Democrats should handle this? He's likely to become the Democratic nominee for the Senate next week.
Some Democrats will defend that mess. I will not. So it's really up to Maine voters. So the people on MS Now, they want to defend a guy with a Nazi tattoo? Okay. If he want to defend a guy that describes the American Army as absolute trash, okay. If P. Hustle said that a Purple Heart awardee is a dumb that doesn't deserve to live, okay. A guy that was probably dropping picks for a decade on Kick. Why is P. Hustle on Kick? I mean, Kick has serious issues, lack of kinds of controls, a lot of underage people. It's really been controversial. Why was he on it for a decade?
Why do you think?
I mean, that's a question. I mean, who's investigating why? I mean, was he sure that he was only talking to, women that are old enough? I mean, what was his protocol? How could he be sure?
Are you concerned that there's more to drop?
Well, he lied to everybody. He said that there wasn't any after his Nazi tattoo situation. And now there's more and more of the things. So he's already lied about that. So I assume, it's like they say, for every ranch you see in Texas, there's 50 that you haven't seen. So I'm sure there's a lot of more ranches in P. Hustle's life.
I think he's taken a note out of Trump's book. I mean, he is just like hammering these reporters. I mean, I love it. And I never heard
none of you do any of the research? I mean, it's not hard to find this stuff, and he's telling them about it, and they're all, I saw the video of it, and they're all like, what do you mean? What? They don't teach us that in journalistic school. The school we went to.
He's trolling them bad, though. I love it. But I had never heard of Kick before. I mean, I hadn't either.
I was afraid to Google it. I know why I haven't as well.
Yeah. You get afraid to Google stuff. It's like I was looking up something the other day, and it was about the thing about the Michael Jackson thing, and it's like And I was afraid to use certain words to look things up, whether it was true or not, you know what I mean? Because you can't trust what you see on Netflix. I mean, just like anywhere else. So it's like and then I go, well, I'm just not going to look that up because I don't need to get tracked for looking up something I shouldn't be looking up. You know what I mean? Just to see, because there's certain words you just shouldn't be looking up. But I was afraid to look up kick for the same reason, because if that's what it is, I mean, you don't want your name tagged to those kind of things.
I've heard enough about kind of what has been happening on it. No thanks.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yuck. We need a palate cleanser.
Yes.
Gosh.
Did they spell kick with a K or no?
I don't know and I don't care.
I don't either.
We have a Paul Harvey rest of the story. Richard sent me a few of these the other day, and they're all fantastic. This one is about a car accident that happened quite a while ago, which Paul Harvey, in and of its nature, is from a while ago. But this is about a car accident that happened quite a while ago, about someone that, if you follow sports, you'll probably know who this is. So, but it's a great story. So here we go, the rest of the story.
The rest of the story. 27-year-old Texas bus driver Alvin Logan was late. He'd left Pecos as scheduled, but the morning fog had slowed him to an anxious crawl. He'd never make it to El Paso on time. And so it was that the frustrated helmsman of Greyhound 548 took a chance, a terrible, unforgivable chance, by trying to pass a truck on a two-lane bridge on Highway 80. Engulfed in fog, Alvin never saw the oncoming Cadillac. He was doing 50 when they collided head-on. And the people in the car, well, they are the rest of the story. William Benjamin and his wife Valerie had spent the night at the El Capitan Hotel in Van Horn. They left early that morning, eager to return home to Fort Worth. Bill was driving, creeping along because of the diminished visibility, and then he came to the mist and shrouded bridge. Two pairs of headlights bearing down on him, and concrete abutments on either side of the two-lane road. He could not have avoided crashing into either the truck or the 24,000-pound bus. It was the bus that got him. Wife Valerie would suffer amazingly minor injuries. In fact, she was able to clamber out of the crumpled car on her own. Bill, on the other hand, was seriously hurt and in shock. It was an hour and a half before help arrived. Bill was lucky to have survived at all, the emergency medics later told Valerie. And he would be luckier still if he ever walked again. For both the fractured seventh rib and the lung into which it had ripped would heal. Even the shattered pelvis would probably mend after a long, painful while. But the crushed left ankle and the mangled left leg, well, they just have to wait and see. So Valerie and the doctors waited. What they eventually saw astonished not only them, but the rest of us as well. The shoulder under the cracked left collarbone would ache every day of his life from then on, as would his legs. The latter would stiffen and swell every time and everywhere he walked, but he walked, and where he walked the very next year was onto the pages of athletic history. For in the annals of professional golf, there's a real-life legend, an athlete whom Jack Nicklaus once called the greatest shot maker the game's ever seen. Triumphant in 63 professional tournaments, including all of the majors. But he's more than great for one accomplishment in particular. For only 1 year after his near-killer car crash in February of 1949, he won the demanding and prestigious United States Open of golf, the biggest of the big blood tournaments, a tournament in which he could never have participated except for a spontaneous act of self-sacrifice. For because of his shy and taciturn nature, his colleagues on the tour once speculated that he was an iceman, cold, maybe, they said, even selfish. Yet although in pain, he lived to play and to win the 1950 U.S. Open, because when he had seen Greyhound 548 heading straight for him on a foggy bridge in Texas, he'd thrown his own body across wife Valerie's to save her. And so he was not in the driver's seat when the steering column impaled that seat like a javelin. Oh yes, you know the Iceman who offered his life for his wife, William Benjamin Hogan. You know him as Ben Hogan. Only now you know the rest of the story.
Boy, they don't build men like that anymore.
Nope. When it's not your time, it's not your time. There's a reason things happen. So
But you see videos of people in the street being crazy and men kind of walking away and leaving their wife behind. I saw a video of that just the other day, and I'm like going, and I'm not Mr. Bravery at all, but I would do whatever I could to protect her.
Yep.
I just don't understand people nowadays. Guys nowadays just they dropped off their man card with their mail-in ballots apparently. So
with their other parts.
Yeah, apparently. So anyway, we hope you were somewhat informed and had fun like we did. Don't forget you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Smart Speaker, Rumble, or wherever you find podcasts.
And if you're having trouble trying to find a podcast, just go to our good old website of StayOffMyLawn.us for all our past and present episodes.
And we will see you next week, folks. And don't forget to stay tuned in for our special Declaration of Independence special somewhere between now and the 4th of July. So.
We're working on it. We'll hopefully have some more info coming soon. Anyway, Toodles, thanks so much for listening, and we really appreciate you passing the word on to a friend and acquaintances and anybody that you think might enjoy a little chuckle with the crappy news that happens.
And we'll see you next week, folks.
Toodles. Well, we had fun, and hope you did too. The opinions heard here today are not those of anyone other than Mike and Richard. If it made you laugh, or go, or even, then we've done our job. Sort of. Well, mostly anyway. And if we made you think about things in a common sense manner, we welcome you to the club. And if it didn't, then just stay off my lawn. See you next time.